Yes. Hello, friends. Now we will discuss the remaining part of the Unit 2, that is commercial banking structure and functions. The last part of the discussion is relating to the banking technology and its development. And we have already seen some of the banking technologies in our previous classes in lecture number 3. Now we will see the further remaining banking technologies which make the banking activity more effective in the country. These are the important three steps that we are going to study in this module, that is universal banking, home banking, and internet banking. Questions may be asked in the examination regarding these matters. What is universal banking? What are the advantages, disadvantages? What is home banking? And what is the internet banking? Internet banking has been asked many times in the examination. Please pay attention and listen to this. It's a very common there is general knowledge that any student of management, any student of today's technology understood person can easily understand these banking technologies, and you might have experienced in day-to-day life how these banking technologies have helped you out. Universal banking, let us understand what is an universal banking. Universal banking refers to bringing all the banking activities under a single roof. Earlier, bank was performing only two activities, such as taking a deposit and giving the loans and advances. But today, because of the advancement in technology, all the banking active different non what you call as financial services of the non-banking are also brought under the banking activity. And today, the bank's functioning scope, that is activity scope, has enhanced beyond the banking activities. So it is providing almost all types of financial services to its customer. That is called universal banking. Because of this universal banking today, State Bank of India or any other nationalized bank is also providing the merchant banking functions like such as investing and trading securities, providing underwriting facilities to the customers, then issuing the what you call it, investment banking activities, and even insurance activities and financial activities are being provided by the State Bank of India and other nationalized banks. This is what we call as universal banking. Here, banking activity is not only confined to accepting deposits or issuing the loans and advances, but all other financial services which non-banking work banking activities take carried out by non-banking organizations are also clubbed under the banking activity. And today, what happened? The banks and non-banking activity of the merchant banking activity and all are clubbed under one single head. And today, in a one single branch, you will get all these services. That is what we call as universal banking. Universal banking refers to not only banking but universal services that all banks are providing today, including the merchant banking activities under one single roof, that is called universal banking. This banking activity was recommended by the Narsimhan Committee on Banking Reforms in 1998. The universal banking concept was floated by the Narsimhan Committee in 1998 because Narsimhan Committee, when it was investigating the banking activities in the country, it could understand that banks were different and their sister concern performing the non-banking activities were different, and because of this the customers have to go to different places to receive the financial services. Therefore, the Sivan committee has recommended to club these and put all these activities under one single banking, because technology is permitting to do all these things. There is no difficulty. One single manager himself can be a bank manager and can also be a manager for performing the merchant banking activities. So therefore the banks were clubbed together, the banking services as well as the non-banking services like merchant banking, etc. Now universal banking is a combination of commercial banking and investment banking, that is issuing, underwriting, investing and trading in securities. Developed banking, insurance and many other financial services are clubbed under the banking activities. It is a place where all financial products are available. Universal Bank is a place where all financial products are available under one single roof. So a universal bank is a bank which offers commercial bank functions plus other functions such as merchant banking, mutual fund activities, factoring, credit cards, housing finance, auto loans, retail loans, and insurance, etc. Earlier, the banks which were operating were only taking the deposits and issuing the loans advances. But the issue of credit card, issue of debit cards, and managing the debit card machines, ATM machines, and all that was not done by the banks. It was done by some other these organizations for having a contract with the bank. But today, what happened, because of this universal bank, these are all activities: ATM, debit cards, credit cards, and even mutual fund investments, factoring, credit cards, activities, everything is brought under one single branch that is called as universal banking. And today, if you see the state bank manager, for example, if you go to a state bank manager and ask the services such as mutual fund and all that, state bank manager himself is providing the mutual fund services. He is ready to help you to open the mutual fund account for investments, helping for factoring activities to the business people, and also he is ready to help to issue the credit cards, housing finance, auto loans, everything under one single roof. This activity is called as universal banking. Now, what are the advantages of universal banking? When universal banking is introduced, there are a lot of what we call as advantages. One is investors' trust. Investors' trust has been increased due to universal banking because the investors will get all facilities, all functions at a one single roof. If they go to one single branch, one single bank, they are ready to get all the information. For example, if you have any complaint relating to your credit card, if you have any complaint relating to your debit card, if you have any what call as services required for mutual fund, if you go to that particular bank branch and ask for the services, all these services are available one single place, one single. Suppose, for example, if you have a state bank mutual fund investment systems and you wanted to have online trading of your mutual funds, buy and sell. If you go to any state bank branch, even bank branch, and ask them to provide you the services, these services are provided easily by the bank manager. That's why it is increasing the investors' trust. The trust refers to anywhere if they go, they were ready to get the hands-on services where the customer will be provided a convenient way of operating his investments and all that. So this is how it is increasing the investor trust. Economics of scale. Economies of scale is one more advantage because earlier when the banking was separate and the same bank branch operating the merchant bank and other kinds of services were different, when they were different, the cost of what you call as operating was more. Now when they are brought under one single thing, the cost is also reduced. Then the third one is resource utilization due to manpower who are working. The optimum utilization of human resource is being developed because of this universal banking. Earlier, the people who are working in the bank branch and the people who are working in the non-bank activities were not knowing the whole idea of banking activities. When they are brought together, a single person working in any branch knows all the activities of the branch. So this is one optimum utility of the resources. Then the infrastructure which is used for banking, the same infrastructure is provided for what you call as non-banking activity of the same bank. And the what you call as the uh, technological supports like softwares and all that. One single software is providing the unique services to all kinds of activities of the bank. So therefore, there is a reduced cost. Because of the reduced cost, you have a profitable type. The profits of the banks is increasing basically because optimum utilization of resources, and because of that, most of the banks are earning a fantastic profits today. Then impartial investment advice. That is one more advantage because the bank manager who is concentrating mainly on the banking activities like accepting deposits and issuing loans and advances, if he wants to give an advice on mutual funds or in investment priorities or insurance proposals of the same bank, he is giving the advices impartially, does not have any marketing targets like. So therefore, customers will get the exact information relating to the investment proposal. Suppose, for example, State Bank of India manager is is being asked by any customer relating to SBI Life Investment. State Bank of India Life Investment is an insurance product. So State Bank manager will give the clear-cut picture about the investment without having any prejudices of targets and all that, because the target is given to the persons who are working under the branch, especially for SBI Life. SBI Life is a part of State Bank of India activities itself, but State Bank of India activity gives the services of the uh, SBI Life in its own branch through technological development. This is what we call as universal banking. So there is a impartial investment advice. Easy marketing of services. Another one is easy marketing of services, basically because in one single point there are a lot of services provided to the customers. So therefore it attracts the customers to get the different products of the same branch, same bank. That is one more advantage, because when the services are easily provided, the marketing demand for those products will automatically increase. One stop shopping, because in one single place you will get all the products whatever you want. Suppose for example, a few days back I wanted to open an account, buy a insurance policy in a what do you call it, State Bank SBI Life policy. There so, sorry some arrears I had to pay to the SBI Life. So I was thinking to go to SBI Life, but SBI Life office is far away from the place. When I approached the nearest State Bank branch and asked the bank manager that it is difficult for me to go there, so is there any possible? State Bank manager said, no sir, these services are available in our branch itself. Whatever the arrears you are supposed to pay, you can pay here. So he has given me the form for discontinuation of the policy. I filled everything and paid the money, so automatically I got the services of SBI Life in the SBI Bank. So this is what we call as universal bank. How this bank manager could be able to do, basically because the systems and softwares are possible to operate from any point, any point. This is one advantages that the bank managers are providing to other banking services. That is one stop shopping provides all that. Disadvantages of universal banking, there are four important disadvantages. These disadvantages are basically because of the oppositions of the human resource working in different things. One is different rules and regulations. If you see the banking activity and non-banking activity like insurance of the same branch, rules and regulations are different. When you are issuing the loans, the rules are different. When you are taking an insurance policy of the same bank, rules are different. So therefore, when the different rules are there, one single person governing that may not have a specialization in those rules. So therefore, there are chances of difficulty of providing. Now, how this is being addressed in the banking activity? Say, for example, a bank manager who is issuing the loans, if he is asked to give the insurance product for the loans, or on the loans what you have taken, if you want to take the insurance of the recovery of the loans and all that, the same bank manager will call the other loan this insurance providing organization representative to his bank and provide the services to the customer, because those people who are the representative of the other banking activities who come to the bank manager's place and provide the services to the customer, it is what we call as universal bank. Customer need not require to go to the other places of the bank and get the services. So this is how there is a combination or coordination among the different banking functions and brought under one single place. This is one best advantage of this. Then effect on banking business. If you see the universal banking business is being affected because the banking branches are rushed with some other activities of the banks. So main basic banking activity is being disturbed. This allegation of some of the managers saying that we may not be able to what to call as concentrate on the banking activity because of the universal banking systems, because a lot of customers who are not the bank customers will come here and unnecessarily create the rush in the these things, or are all what you call as employees are tied up with the non-banking activity. They are focusing on other than banking activity. This is one problem that we see. Third one is monopoly. Monopoly refers to some banks are having a monopoly, having a good systems. They are attracting a lot of customers. For example, State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, and Citibank, who are having the advanced universal banking activity in their branch, are providing a end-to-end service to the customers in the one single place. So they are getting a monopoly in the marketing. But some other than this, those who are having a non-banking activities but not having the banks are suffering a lot because of these competitions. So therefore, only few banks which are having a banking activity as well as non-banking activity clubbing together has become a what you call as a big monopolic organizations to attract the customers. A simple example is Life Insurance Corporation is not having a bank, but SBI, State Bank of India, is also having a SBI Life. When the people wanted to take the advantage of this SBI Life, it is being provided, service is provided by the banking organization itself. For LIC and all that, customer has to go to LIC branch. But here, SBI Life is concerned, people are ready to get the services even in the State Bank of India bank. So a customer who wants to do take a life insurance, he will not unnecessarily waste his time to go to LIC branch and do the thing. He finds SBI branch is more convenient because if he takes the SBI Life, his premium and everything can be paid in the bank itself where his bank account is maintained. So this is how ECS systems and everything is provided. So therefore he finds it is safe to get that. So because of this, they get a lot of business. SBI today is getting a lot of business, and the business of the what you call it, LIC is being affected because of these universal banking activities. So this is one more problem that is being highlighted. Next one is conflict of interest. Conflict refers to the two different pressures, two positions relating to that. That is what we call as conflict of interest. Banking activity interest is different, whereas non-banking activity interests are different. Now the employees have a conflict whether to do this or whether to do that. Both cannot be done in a single at the same time. So priority giving becomes very difficult. So there is a conflict of interest among the employees. These are the disadvantages, but disadvantages are not so big disadvantages basically because of high technology and skilled workers. If they are appointed, they can easily manage both the things in a single hand. Next one is home banking. As you know the meaning of the home banking, banking doing a banking activity sitting at a home. Very simple example. Second advancement in the banking. Today customer did not require to go to the bank to get the banking services. Under home banking, the customer can get a bank services sitting at a home or office without visiting the branch. Number of what you call as routine transaction can be undertaken by the customer like knowing the balance, getting the settlement of the accounts, etc. He can get it done sitting in the home. If he wants to know what is the amount of the deposit that he has, what is the interest that he has received on the deposit, all the details of the bank account, he can get it by just a phone call to a bank branch and giving a customer code. He can get all the information relating to banking. So uh, types of home banking, if you consider, there are basically two types of home banking using the internet and home banking without using the internet. Home banking using the internet is like a internet banking itself. Home banking without using the internet is through telephonic calls. What are the home banking using internet? Home banking using the various facilities that can be enjoyed by a customer by using the internet in home banking are account details, payment of bills, electronic fund transfer, online trading. This banking service is also called as net banking. This is also called as net banking services. Today, for example, any customer who opens an account has an option to take the services of online banking facilities. If you opt for the online banking facilities and gets that facility from the bank, he will be given a user ID and password. By entering a user ID and password in the particular banking portal, he can open his own accounts and operate his own accounts on his own to a limited level. For example, if he wants to know the account details, it is available. Today, for example, you know that is you need a one services like developed by SBI is providing all the banking activities on the mobile itself. That is what we call as mobile internet banking. You can access the account and you can find the deposits that is being made. Even you can pay the bills to certain levels like electronic bills, water bills, or any kinds of insurance bills. Everything you can pay through online. And electronic fund transfer is also possible because from one account to another account you can transfer the funds also. Today, this electronic fund transfer is provided by even Google Pay and what you call as Phone Pay, Bhim apps, and all that, which are connected to your Paytm, for example, best example for electronic fund transfer, which are attached to your bank account. Even for example, fast cards today, when you don't want to wait for paying the tolls on the roads, you can have electronic systems to identify the account and get the money from the account. So if you go to the toll, when you have a barcode which is provided by the fast card is read by the machine. Automatically, the amount deposited in the fast card in your bank attached this thing will be deducted and it is transferred immediately within a fraction of a second. This is what we call as electronic fund transfer. Online trading is also possible because if you want to buy anything online, you can pay money through these things. For example, because of this, you could find out a lot of the online marketing activities. They are ready to get the money without having any physical transfer of money, like your what you call as eBay's and what you call as Amazon bulk purchases, online trading is possible. This banking services is also called as net banking. Net banking. Home banking without using internet, if you see, it is an earlier version of the internet banking. Before internet banking was introduced, customers were provided the home banking services without using internet. The instrument used here is a telephone. By calling up the branches, the customer can enjoy various facilities like opening the account, applying for a checkbook, requesting for statement of account, transferring funds, account details, all this. Because on the phone itself, the bankers used to do this. But it was like an analogy type of a thing where the customer has to dial the banker and give his customer code and then he will ask for services. And the banking transactions were slow because unless and until the phone call is attended by the uh, bank officials, your services were not complete. This was the difficulty earlier. But today, because of net banking, things are very easy. So now home banking has become outdated when the internet banking came into existence. Advantages of home banking, if you see, using internet, that is provision of a banking facility without visiting the branch. The basic advantage. You need not require to visit the branch. Even sitting at the home also you can. Quick services can be provided because of the internet facilities and all that. Cost of providing services is less. Suppose if you go to bank and do this, while going to a bank, you have to spend your time. Cost of time is invested, and you have to go by the rickshaw or by vehicles and all that. You are supposed to incur a cost for transportation. And when you go there, you have to physically involve in doing those activities, standing in queue and all that. That is a effort. So time, money and efforts are involved in these activities. But now because of this home banking facility, internet is sufficient enough to do all this. So you can easily do a banking activity sitting at the home. Limitations of the home banking. There are certain problems with the home banking. Home banking facility cannot be given by the banks which are not fully computerized. So home banking facility is provided by only those banks which are having a computerized network systems and who are maintaining those level of technology. A small cooperative banks or any kinds of small banks may not be able to provide this facility. So the to provide a home banking facility, the banks must have established to that level. Only those banks can provide. Illiterate customers cannot make use of the home banking facility because of a lot of technical things involved in it. Even if it is a Windows system, but reading and understanding those facilities most essential. Illiterate customers does not mean the customers who do not know anything how to read and write. Sometimes even the old customers who may not be able to understand the internet concepts and all that, even though they are literates, but they may not be able to understand the fundas of internet banking. So they need the help of the new generations who are involved in that. Those who cannot operate the computers, those who cannot operate the mobiles, Android mobiles with advanced facilities like banking transactions may not be able to do it effectively. So old people are also considered as illiterate customers who do not know the systems of operating the banking activities. Misuse of facility by the outsider is also possible. The internet banks always works on passwords. on protected passwords. If the protected password is known by any third person, he can easily withdraw the money, or he can transact your account without your knowledge, without the knowledge of the main customers. So this is possible when the things are shared. And today, even if the OTP is sent to the mobiles and all that, if the mobile is there with the person who is misusing, can easily operate the account, because banker will not having a physical analysis whether the customer he himself is operating or somebody is operating, because there is a lack of customer identification physically by the bankers in the internet banking. Internet banking recognizes the customer's identity only based on the OTPs or passwords and all that. Any person misusing these passwords can operate his account and do this. Because of that, lot of malpractices are happening in the banking transactions. Now we will discuss a little bit more in internet banking. Internet banking is a part of home banking itself, that we have seen what the internet banking. Now we will go in detail. What is internet banking? Internet banking is conducted the bank transactions online instead of finding a bank and interacting with a teller. A broad sense, it is a use of electronic means to transfer funds directly from one account to another account rather than by check or cash. Definition of internet banking: a system of banking in which customers can view their account details, by pay bills, and transfer money by means of internet through internet. Services of internet banking that you are all enjoying today: bill payments, credit cards, insurance, customer services, recharging your prepaid phones, shopping, all these things are done through internet banking. For all this, you need not require to go to a bank, but through your mobile or any other mechanical, technical devices like computers, laptops, or in mobiles, you can operate these banking accounts. Who can use the internet banking? Then how internet banking works? Customer, when he visits the, if you see, there are steps involved how the internet bank operates. Customer visits the merchant website. If you go to, for example, if you are SBI customer, if you open SBI net banking services, it goes for login customer identification. When you go to login, put your customer identification, user ID and password, it will get open. Browse the selected products. There are a lot of products available, like fund transfer, deposits, create FD accounts, all that. You can click any one, enter billing. If you want to say, for example, pay the bills, you can enter the billing details and confirm transactions amount. And reacts to ATM net banking and IIP page. It goes there and automatically processes, and credit and debit cards net banking will be operated here, and it enters the login ID and all that. So transaction is completed. So this system is not so complete, but you can easily understand how this banking activity operates. Working of internet banking, bank back office systems, internet office systems. This is all technical issues relating to banking activities. Steps involved in working of internet banking. If you go through videos uploaded by the bank itself, you will be able to understand it comfortably. But here I will make a little effort to create an awareness in your mind. See, there is a bank office back system, that is a branch office terminals, and internet front office systems. There is a web server and security subways and internet. So it's a user when he operates his account. So it will be processed through SSL connection and finds out whether the same customer with the user ID and password is a genuine or not. So security subway system will be filtering that. When the security subway system filters it out, it allows you to enter the web server. When you enter the web server, internet front office will start operating the help for you, and it goes to the branch office, and through a branch office it goes to the branch office terminals, where all your transactions are being recorded and effected. Suppose, for example, if you transfer the account from one bank to another bank, from your branch to another branch, so these activities are processed through branch office terminals. So this is how each branch office is having its own what you call as website terminals to process the activities. So if it is filtered properly here all, and then it is identified perfectly, then these transactions are affected here. Suppose while you are entering the user ID and password, if it is not matching in SSL connection itself, the security survey system will block your account activities here. So security survey system is high level security systems which filters the account. Once it gives a signal that it is correct, then web server will get open and help you to operate. And then like that, these things will be. So web security server system is the most essential in every banking transactions. So we'll go to the advantages of internet banking. As you know that cost is less, transaction speed, efficiency, speed banking, vast coverage. So this is all the advantages, need not require to go in detail. Vast coverage refers to one single bank can operate, the scope will be very high. Suppose for example, State Bank of India internet banking facility provided will cover the whole country, whole world without having any branch in that particular place. This is what we call as vast coverage. Issues in internet banking, if you see, there is a issue of security today because user ID and passwords identifications are not so effective, and this security is being advanced today because of these biometric possibility advancement in the technology. Unless and until the customer gives his biometric thumb impression, the internet banking facility will not be open. This is also being implemented today to reduce the security. But any security that you provide is a non-physical kind of analysis because it is analyzed by the technology. So technology is not having a particular what you call as a physical identification of the person. It identifies only on specifications like code words, code numbers, or maybe with the thumb impressions or eyelids readings and all that. So anybody who copies these things may be misutilizing this, but copying itself is very difficult because copying the biometric impressions of the human body is very difficult. That is why so difficult it may not be easily cracked by anybody else. But in certain films and all that, you might be seeing how these things are misutilized. A person who is having a bank account is hijacked. His fingertips are taken through certain rubber kinds of things, and they are used in the these things. All these possibilities may be there. But anyhow, the security issue is being addressed by the advanced technological systems today, and it is trying to reduce. But the more the security implementations that you do, it is increasing the transaction cost for the customer because for maintaining the high security level, the customer has to bear the cost. This is one more problem in the banking systems. Learning difficulties because the new old customers may not be understanding the new advancements and easily occupy all that knowledge so fast as the new generation is doing. So therefore it is difficult to understand, to implement, because if you see, more than what you call as 30-40% of the population is having old age people and illiterate people who may not be able to implement it. So therefore 100% success of internet banking is not possible in a country like India. Next one is lack of skilled personnel. The skilled personnel in the offices and all that is lacking because if you want to keep the people in providing such kind of high technology services to develop the softwares and all that, you need a skilled person who knows the electronic system and also knows the banking system and also having a knowledge about the laws and all that. Such people are lacking, so therefore it is a bit costly. Technical breakdown, sometimes if the internet is breakdown, so there is a problem of internet banking. Internet banking works only if there is a internet services provided. Internet services are provided by certain telecom agencies like your Reliance, BSNL, Airtel and all that. If the services are breakdown, so your all internet fundas will get lost. So long startup time. So long startup time, it requires a lot of time to implement this kind of services. And another one is inexpensive. The banking transactions are inexpensive, so therefore it is one more this thing disadvantages. So I thank all the students for listening to this lecture, and we will continue with other things in the next lecture. Thank you. Thank you. The other things are only the three things that we are supposed to discuss. The tools of the banking activities today, the debit card, credit card, and ATM machines, how they operate. If we study that, your model 2 is complete. So I thank the students for your patience listening. Thank you.